Welcome to the Ave Podcast. My guest right now is a part of an important staple in hip hop history. His partnership with his cousin Teddy Ted to create Awesome 2, holding together the longest, if not the longest, radio show or hip hop radio show in the history of the genre on 105.9 WHBI, which played a major part in inspiring DJs and rappers alike in the tri-state area. Including breaking many records throughout the years, many classics, which you're probably still listening to in the club during certain sets. And as well as managing and consulting some of your favorite artists like Big Daddy Kane, for example. And with hip hop celebrating his 58th birthday, I think it's super important to spread love and drop rose petals on the floor in front of the people that has helped to make hip hop what it is. And what a way to start by introducing this man right here. Please welcome Special K to the show. How you doing today, my brother?
Oh man, salute to everybody out there, man. I'm just trying to, come to the technology, as fast as I can, you know what I mean? Trying to get there, brother.
Nah, it's all good, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate you for coming on, man. And I usually like to start with everybody's origin story, but I just want to change it up just a little bit. With hip hop turning 50, I want to know what your thoughts are on the anniversary. Did you ever think that, like Biggie said, that hip hop would take it this far, especially where you seen where it started?
Well, truthfully, I was hoping it did, but when it started with us, it was like thought the guys thought it was gonna be a fad. They didn't really believe in it, and I'm glad we're still like a part of the journey. You know what I mean? Like we're still trying to, believe it or not, all these years still find our way and still kind of be accepted. With all other stuff that's going on right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, you guys have had one of the first, you and Teddy Ted have had one of the first hip hop shows in the history of the genre. So I want to just take it back down memory lane just a little bit. But what was it like for, when most of these guys were starting out from the beginning, like a LL or Rakim, coming to your shows or just, seeing where they were starting from?
I mean, for us, it was hard, in the beginning. Actually, first off, I got to thank a guy that passed away last year, Jerry Brubrock. He was the guy that kind of like made everything happen for us. I still say to this day, if it wasn't for him, we probably wouldn't be on the air because there's a lot of politics going on, and it's a lot. There's a lot going on over all these years. Cats kind of grew up in the game, and we've gotten a little older, and it's kind of like a young man's game now. So we're still trying to, wiggle our way in and stay in the mix, and keep our craft and our skills what we always have and still be accepted. So it's a cool thing like that. As far as Rakim and LL, we was fortunate to be on WHBI, and that was the kind of avenue for if you wanted to really break a record of hip hop under the ground, you had to come to us. Well, I wouldn't say just us. You had Africa Islam that was on the station. You had Mr. Magic. You had certain people on, but the station we was on, WHBI, was a buy time station. We had to pay for our airtime and then try to go out with the advertisers. And that was a whole another game to deal with because, it was a lot of money monthly. And, back in those days, we try to keep it as legal as we could. You know what I mean? Like as far as not to get into trouble and really pay for the show because we loved it. But it was hard. And it took a while for us to convince different record labels and different companies to support us.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, in the beginning, they didn't really believe in what it was. It ain't like it is now. You know what I mean? Everybody's like on the wagon and they just want to get in. I want to be on,
Mm-hmm. Now, I guess I'll take it back to the beginning a little bit. When did you first fall in love with hip hop?
I fell in love with hip hop, I guess, probably in the beginning. I mean, I'm going back to the tapes. I'm going back to really Mr. Magic. I mean, it was fortunate that Mr. Magic, I listened every night on the radio like everybody else did, and I was persistent. I kept calling and nagging them and annoying them, and I got on his nerves so much that he was like, man, stop calling me. Call Jerry Blowrock. Get his number. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay. And when I called Jerry Blowrock, that changed my life. That, he kind of took me under his wing. I was actually going to college at the time at William Patterson College out in Jersey. And he took me under his wing. He just said, come to the station, learn what's going on. I was going to college for communications. And he's like, listen, just come with me, weekly, come to the station, learn what's going on, answer the phones, and gradually, 5 minutes left in the show, he would let me talk and read names, and that kind of got my voice out there. I kind of say, wait a minute, the guy sound like he knows what he's doing. And then Jerry kind of moved on into records, which is Divine Sounds, Rock Mascot and Dynamic 3, Request Line, and he kind of wanted to move into the record side and kind of let us slide in with the radio. That's kind of how we got on. I mean, a lot of people at the time had shows, Carlos De Jesus. I'm taking it back, like real back. Like Carlos De Jesus, Sweet G, Africa Bambaataa, a lot of those guys were kind of in line to get shows on the station. And the only way we got in there, we came under Jerry's umbrella, and that's what got us in. Going front, that's what got us in. And we were just trying to hold it down like as best we could because we wanted to lose the show. I felt like it was my duty to Jerry out there and give it up to Jerry. And it's just wild how last year, before he passed away, he would always praise me and say, I'm so proud of you and Ted. Y'all kept things moving for us and did the rap game, did the hip hop radio game like you guys really wanted to do it. And I'm like, listen, man, we wouldn't be on because of you. And I'm trying to give him props, and he would always be like, man, it's all right, man. He was just so humble, considering the genius that he was.
Yeah.
That that's why I always try to praise his name and praise what he did for me because he did everything for me. It's
crazy because like from the jump, you really wanted to get into on the radio side.
Yeah. I was I was DJing. I had a crew back in the days called Ice Productions.
Right.
We out of Passaic, New Jersey, and I had a guy named Sam Lee who passed away, and another guy named Irvin Cassiano. He ended up being a cop and going to the service. So I'm the one that kind of like kept things moving, kept things going. And when Jerry gave us the break with the radio, I had another partner named Donald Redding. They call him Donald B.
Yeah.
We rocked for like maybe 5 years or whatever. And then we had a little fallout. And gradually, as time went on, my grandfather passed away. I got a little more close with Teddy Ted. And then I realized that Ted, I knew would be influential to the group because he loved it. He was always giving me the old school tapes. And I'm a little older than Ted, so he would always call me and be like, come on, cuz, put me on. I'd be like, oh, man, you ain't ready yet. Then my grandfather passed away. I came spinning in the room. I'm like, wait a minute. You more than ready. You know what I mean? Because I did all the mixing along with man Sammy Lee on the show. And just, it was a different situation for me where I could, let Ted dedicate to the DJing and I can dedicate to the talking. And it worked out. It's been working out fine to this day.
Now, your first show, like, was there any like nerves? Starting your first show back then, even though you had your little beginnings with Mr. Magic and all that.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of nerves. I mean, like I said, what prepared me was running under Jerry. You know what I mean? Like he gradually brought me in. I was doing radio at William Patterson for a while, and that was kind of like my little break-in. And I went to school at a school called MBS. They were out of New York. So I was trying to, perfect and try to do it the right way. But like I said, Jerry's the one that put me on. I mean, like I said, man, at the beginning right now it's 41 years for it. So there's so much stuff that went on in all this time. I just feel blessed and fortunate to still be doing it. And, to bring it up to date, we're actually doing it now on Scratch Vision.
Right.
Scratch has his own app, and we've been fortunate, man, to be under his tutelages and really continue to do our show like we like to do our show, and he gave us that vehicle to do that. So got to give props to Scratch, and Scratch thing is black owned, so we kind of try to keep it in the family and support our peoples. That's what we're about.
Which is awesome, and. And you're seeing, because that was one of my questions I wanted to ask you too, between him and like LL with Rock the Bells on Sirius XM, like what do you feel about like those guys kind of like, being that they've been in the game as long as you to like, kind of like hold that history in so we know that like, okay, like this generation will not be forgotten either.
Oh, much props. I mean, our thing is now is, we kind of still between me and you waiting in the wings. I mean, we would love to be on Rock the Bells. And we'd love to be a part of it, but we have done mixes on it. We did the Grandmaster Flash birthday mix on New Year's. So they do give us a little avenue to come on and do it. And we did the Jersey Day on Rock the Bells that a lot of folks hold. So, I mean, we just try to get in where we fit in. You know what I mean? Like, big up the LL and big up the Scratch. And, it's a big step for them. You know what I mean? As far as like to preserve the music and, preserve the history and give props and jobs to some of the guys that wasn't fortunate to get jobs. You know what I mean? Because, with us, like I said, we had to buy time on WHBI. And, it was a lot. And, I don't want to forget that. I don't want to let nobody think that, we got it like that. And we got a lot of help. And we still got a lot of help to this day. A lot of people out there, man. So we appreciate it and just want to say big up to all of us that, made our situation happen and still making it happen.
But it's for the love for what, I think what people appreciate what you guys have been doing for so long, too. It's for the love as well.
Oh, I mean, the love can go but so far. You know what I mean? I mean, the love don't never leave. You know what I mean? And we appreciate the love that we get back from the people and the fans and the artists, for that matter. Because we've gotten close with the artists, and we got to the point now where, I was just thinking this year on how we're losing a lot of our warriors, a lot of our artists. I mean, and it's just different, man. Like you kind of grow up with someone, and they're like your brother. You know what I mean? You grow up with someone like your sister, and then when you lose them, it's like with Biggie and Pac, but I'm talking about just recently Dave from De La Soul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Brother that was real humble.
Huge loss.
Always gave love. It's hard to explain the feeling that we got for like when they saw us like, oh, that's awesome too. Wow, they've been playing our records all these years. Oh, they down to earth. Oh man, they're approachable. You know what I mean? Like we just regular dudes. Like we just, we want to be a part of what's going on. We want to grow like everybody else wants to grow. So that's how we've been doing it, man. Just trying to stay humble, be respectful, and make sure we continue to make sure our relationships, stay cool, because that's what it's about in this game. It's about relationships and not burn no bridges, and just like, even when you see that, people are still not really giving you an opportunity, but you still got to they kind of respect what you've been still doing, because it's like, oh, okay, I didn't give them a shot or whatever, but they still doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what
now being that like you and Teddy Ted started your Awesome 2 radio show back in '82, it led you down so many paths, from managing acts, doing shows. When you started doing your shows at the time, when did you guys know back then that the show was going to take off, or be something that were like it was going to be a big part of the culture?
Truthfully, we really didn't know. I mean, we just did it, like I said, for the love. We did it as an, we have to find this money somehow, or we have to make sure the show is like, as hot as we think we could make it. And, that's really where our head was at. It was just like, how do we figure out, paying for the show? I mean, the one great thing that Jerry Brubach taught me was he had a record pool where he serviced a lot of the DJs. But as years went on, you lose DJs. You know what I mean? Because some cats just ain't got the love, or just don't want to just pay. It's not affordable, whatever. And I was fortunate to have like 30 DJs under my wings. It was kind of like, I wouldn't say I managed them, but it was like, I was there with the vehicle to give them the music that they needed to go to clubs. And we on the radio rocking the latest and the newest stuff, and they in the clubs doing their thing. So I mean, so it was like almost similar to what Flex, from as a Flex got now, the Flip Squad and the Heavy Hitters, and you get your little, because it's strength in numbers. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. You know what I mean? Like with me, I'm fortunate to have Teddy Ted, because Teddy Ted is like, if you hear our show, the music is one thing, and I try to do the best I can, talking wise, to make our show sound like a show. You know what I mean? To sound like what we feel like, should be represented the right way. And you got to have a team, man. And it's really just been me and him. But we got people that help us, but you need a team out there. We need somebody that does your social media. You need somebody to hit the record companies, and you just need a team to be out here to make sure that you're on top of everything rightfully, and you can get the most out of the situation.
Now, of course, now I came across, that you guys used to obviously manage artists or consult for artists and stuff in your past. So, with that said, can you tell the people the importance of like I always want to show love to these guys, like a kid and play to the culture.
Right.
You know, especially around 87, 88, because like they came on like monsters and people forget.
Let me tell you, it's a real funny story. I mean, with Kid and Play itself, I interned at WBLS when I was at William Patterson College, and I was fortunate to work and intern under Frank Crocker. I was fortunate to work with Sergio Munzabar, Timmy Regisford, and Charlie Casanova, and names like that. Like a lot of folks might not know, they were the DJs and people influential in, you know, making things grow. And Charlie Casanova came to me one day. We got tight, we got cool while I was interning, and he said, "Listen, I got these guys out of Queens that I'm working with, whatever, and it's two of them, but I need another rapper to rock with them. I want to rock three guys. Do you have anybody?" And I said, "Sure. I got somebody in Jersey. There's a guy named KGL. They call him, his name is Kasim Washington, but he was from my hometown. He grew up with me. And I knew he had skills, and he was dope, and he was ended up like the Muslim faith. And he was strong on the mic. And I brought him one day to New York. Boom. He met Kid and Play. At that time, they were called Fresh Force. They wasn't Kid and Play yet. We going back to the first record on Suture Records.
Yeah.
And the song they put out was Rock Me Amadeus, which was Kid, Play, and KGL. So when we first started doing our shows, they did a show at Latin Quarters because we started Latin Quarters, Hip Hop Night, and what have you.
Shoot, I didn't know you started Latin Quarters. That's crazy.
Oh yeah. We the first ones. I mean, a lot of cats take credit for it, but nah. The Latin Quarters was our thing. Tuesday nights, and then it branched out into Fridays and Saturdays, and Raul and everybody else.
Body touch and all that and stuff.
There you go. So what's crazy is, you know, they performed that first night in Latin Quarters, and KGL was like a, you know, slim light skinned brother, but all the girls loved him. And I noticed when they performed, you know, KGL got a lot of the light. A lot of the girls was going crazy over him. Now, no diss to Kid and Play. I got love for them for life. But I don't think they were too happy with the way that it came off with, you know, my man getting a little more shine. And, you know, we was all new to the game at that time. You know what I mean? So, you know, as time went on, they was like, "Listen, Charlie, you know, we want to kind of do this on our own, the both of us."
Yeah.
So eventually they kind of broke away from KGL, and KGL was kind of devastated. You know what I mean? But I'd explained to him, like, "Listen, you know, things happen, and you can still do your own thing. You know what I mean? You can see how strong you are on stage by yourself." But he just, I don't know, he felt like he wanted to be more in the group thing than it wanted to be part of the group thing. So eventually they ended up being Kid and Play, and eventually we got tight, and we, you know, it was always cool. But like I said, it was a little bumpy road at the time because, you know, it was emotional. It was feelings involved. It was, you know what I mean? So we ended up working out. We ended up doing a big show with them up in Canada, in Montreal.
Oh,
I rock with Mike Mission. I rock with Mike Mission and you know, and my boys up there, Keith and all them guys up there. We started doing radio with those guys.
Yeah.
And we did a show up there. We brought Kid and Play. So, you know, I mean, you know, as years go on, you know, like I said, you know, we not here forever, and you know, you have some differences with some cats or whatever, but you really got to get over that. And we're adults now. You know, we grown now, and we got to push that to the side and look at the bigger picture. Like, listen, you know, we in this together. We growing together. Let's continue to move together. So that's how I've been doing it. You know?
And being that I'm from Montreal, yeah, but CKUT from 93 from back in the day. Was that the first show that they've ever done in Canada?
I'm not sure it was the first show, but it was one of the first.
That's crazy.
I know Keith and Karen, and you know, it's just so many names, man, and so many people that, you know, kind of like helped us, you know, get our thing going, and it was all from Hip Hop Love. You know, Mike, and to this day, Mike Mission still calls and gives love, and I try to call that station to give them love, because that's what it's about. You know what I mean? That's what it's about.
No, and I just bring them up because just, you know, the culture incorporated a lot of, like, especially back then, it incorporated so much dancing. Even like the harder rappers, you know, who didn't think would dance, like a Big Daddy Kane or like even like a LL, they were dancing. When you watch Kid and Play and just they took off with it, man, I understand like their place in history. So just to see that you had a connection with them, I'm like, no, I want to bring that up.
Yeah,
because they were so amazing for the culture.
Yeah. When you bring Kane's name up, what's so funny about Kane is, Kane, we met through Biz. And Bismarck would come to the station when we was on HBI and do a little freestyle and do his little thing, whatever. Now, Kane, when he first started, answered our phones. Like I answered the phones of Jerry Blowrock. I try to, extend the same thing. And Kane and Biz would do a freestyle at the end of the show. Like I used to answer the phones with Jerry. They would do freestyle at the end of the show, and that freestyle would go all through Brooklyn. That's how Kane got, recognized.
Got his name.
It takes to this day. So yeah, I used to be that also secretary for a while, but then I branched out and blew up. You know what I mean? So we, we kind of joke about it. We real, and then like I said, also Mr. T go back to the beginning, and it's still love to this day. So
yeah,
our thing is we're at the point now. We're trying to continue to grow, but we feel proud when we see other folks like that come in the game, do their thing, and grow too. So it's all good.
No, that's awesome. Now, I know as well too. To give you guys your love, like I know you were one of the first ones to work on audio too. How did you guys first connect with that?
Wow. Well, I mean, we did the remix on Top Billing. That's number one, and that was instrumental to helping them getting their deal on Atlantic Records. And then what's crazy is when we did Audio 2's record, they let us come in the studio and do the remix because the single was I Like Cherries, which was the A side.
Yeah.
We flipped the B side over and was playing Top Billing. Wasn't nobody else was playing Top Billing in the beginning, and we had a lot of records like that, like for instance EPMD, Your Customer, and then Rakim, My Melody. We would play a lot of B side records because we could. At that time, we like, well, I think this one's a little stronger, or we think somebody else they're gonna play the A side, let us play the B side, and grow. You know what I mean? So it's I got to give props to Melk and Giz. They gave love. I mean, Nat Robinson. Like I said, another relationship that we had, and those relationships was helpful for us to get sponsorship from them, to get when they got their deals, get money from them in order to pay for the radio show. So everything kind of revolved around the radio show because we had to figure out how we gonna find $2,000 a month to go on to play it. We wasn't going on saying let's make $2,000. It'd be nice, but most times we would barely pay for the show. So with us, that's been years of hard grind and a lot of hard times. But I mean, like I said, it's a blessing just for the opportunity to even get on there and get recognized by folks like you. You know what I mean? Now.
No, and I appreciate that, and just and as well, 'cause I know you guys broke that, and you also broke Eric B for president. Like, that, like to me, like those stories to me is crazy. Because I mean, New York is a different time too, right? Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, my bad to you. Like I said, that was another situation where we did Tuesday nights in Latin Quarters. Now, Latin Quarters came about where we went and kind of like we was in New York. Our radio show was on like 4 a.m. on Saturday nights, and we would be in New York, taking the bus to New York to go do the show in general, and we'd be bored for like 3 hours with nothing to do before we do the show. So we would always see this club on 48th Street, and be like, wow, let's go in there and see what's going on, whatever. And they was playing disco. They was doing a whole different type thing. Yeah. We came to them and said, listen, give us your worst night. And we had an idea of starting Celebrity Tuesdays. Not really like this rap talent night. That was the whole thing. Like we had got so many demos on WHBI from all different rappers. I mean, we got demos from like Heavy D in the beginning, and Kane, and not Kane, Kane, Dana Dane, like a lot of folks like that. And we was fortunate to get those tapes out there and let them showcase themselves in the Latin Quarters. Unfortunately, we didn't realize that Heavy D was going to perform there first, and Dana Dane, like all these groups that we could have had under our wing, but we wasn't that business savvy yet. We was just on slow, like, there was love. Come on, man, come perform. There was love. We wasn't thinking about the money. We wasn't thinking about what money we made that night. We was just like, let's do a nice show. We had Paradise that rocked with us. He answered our phone, and he was instrumental. That's why you see all them pictures that he took. He was smart about, I always had a camera with him at all times.
Documenting history.
Like, yes, sir. But I'm saying we were so naive and not really knowing that we was just like, oh yeah, take a picture. Oh yeah, dope. You know what I mean? Not know now. We be thinking about, like how everybody does now. They want to preserve pictures, and the camera guys want to charge you with a picture they took of you. I get it, but it's just like, we wasn't on that tip when we first started. It was just like it was kind of out of too much love. After a while, it's like you give love, but you got to be smart about it too.
But the funny thing is too, you can't even take blame for that because the industry was still so young. You know what I mean? You're just kind of living it. Yeah, you're in the moment. You're just living.
You let him exactly. So I'm glad you see that and you realize that. That's really more what it was. You know what I mean? It ain't like now where and then you got social media and all this other stuff. We had none of that back then.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah. And I know you've seen so many changes throughout the game. For you being in the hip hop industry. For you, just a question, just on keeping on hip hop. Like, what to you was like your favorite era? What was the best era for you when it came to hip hop, especially like back in them times in New York City? Was it 87, 88? Was it 93 to 96?
I think it was 86, 87, 88, 89.
Okay.
On up. I mean, like at that time, we were learning stuff too, and we'd make Reg Nice, and that was a whole nother scenario. In Land Quarters, we ended up starting our own thing. We both had dreams of let's make a record, let's do this, let's do that, and we just got tight, and our friendship been bonding over all these years. So it's like we was fortunate to get that situation out there, learn from that,
Right.
And then Ed O.G. was our cousin, so we ended up getting our first deal with Ed O.G. So and then we went on a road with Positive K, and we helped him with I Got a Man.
I Got a Man.
Then it was like we met Platinum Vibe, which is Sherry Shepard and Bob Curry and Ted Currier, and from that experience, they said go on the road and manage the Boogie Boys. So we're on the road with the Boogie Boys, learning as much as we can. We meeting Vanessa Williams. You know what I mean? We meeting Ohio players. Like Boogie Boys was somewhere else. They was doing shows with Cameo, and we were doing like stadiums. You know what I mean, with the Boogie Boys.
Yeah.
So it was a learning curve. And then from Platinum Vibe, they had Tony Terry. So it's just we was fortunate to be locked in under good people that took us under our wings and said, "Listen, I'll show you this. I'll teach you that. As long as you're gonna put out, and push, you can learn what you need to learn or meet who you need to meet." And that's why you see us in all these incredible pictures with certain icons. I mean, we got a picture, we got a book coming out where we got a picture with Luther Vandross in Club Tunnel. You know what I mean? Like we just got we got a book that we're working on called Iconic Views, and it's been rough to get it out because we really ain't got no big backings. But when hopefully it'll get out, you'll see that we've kind of been with a lot of iconic people and been fortunate to rock with them. You know what I mean? So it's a blessing, man. So it's one day at a time. You pray on it, keep faith, and keep moving. That's it.
Yeah, no doubt. And at the start of like the turn of the century now, especially with MP3s, starting to become the thing in the music industry, you always hear or felt like it changed the music industry forever. For you, when did you feel like the industry started changing, or was it that time?
I think for us, man, what changed a lot was the record pool was a fortunate situation. We had 30 DJs. We had a nice, lucrative money that was coming weekly just for getting vinyl, and it was paying for the radio show. It was helping us have a little small salary and getting us kind of out there. And then when the vinyl went and the record pools went and the MP3s and all that online streaming thing came, things changed. The money changed and it changed hands, and it just, it got tough. It got tough. So, and like I said, you got to kind of change with the times. Like I give it up to Teddy Ted, for instance. He was on the computer early. He was on all them things early. I was kind of like, not really there. He would always push me. Come on, man, let's do this. So come on. Even now, I mean, I got, Ted got all our pages, like, Awesome 2 page and
on Instagram,
Mi Gente. Ted got all of it, and I don't really have. I'm not that social media. I'm more of a guy. I'm more of the guy that call me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's one guy. I'll DM you. I'll Instagram you. I'm more like call me. You know what I mean? There's a number, call me. You know what I mean? So I mean, sometimes that's cool, but sometimes you're busy and you can get it done faster when you. And some people don't want to be reached out like that. Some people want to do it the way. So I get it, man. We just try to do. I do my thing, he do his thing, and we try to make it work together.
Yeah, no doubt. And I ask this because whether it was MP3s or not, the industry overall changed. Some say it evolved. You know what I mean? But I think the talent started sounding the same, and the playlist started becoming the same everywhere you went. Like, do you think what effects do you think that have on the industry, like for better or for worse, in your opinion?
I think it was better because it helped it grow, but I think for worse, it was still good for us. You know what I mean? Because we always could be whatever they're doing. We want to do this side and be different. To separate us from them. You know what I mean? We want to be. We want to always be recognized as the guys that broke the record, or the guys that played that first, or the guys that told me about this first. We always try to be cutting edge on the streets at all times. So.
It's interesting because, I know you were talking before about like breaking records, and, you guys broke a lot of records back in the day. And I like being blessed to be in New York in certain situations where I remember world premieres of certain songs. Like one of my favorites is when they dropped the world premiere of Put Your Hands Where Your Eyes Can See, the Busta Rhymes song. And that shit blew my mind. And just watching New York go insane and the tri-state area go insane when that song came out, it was just, that whole era was different. It was amazing. Like, do you think now, like, obviously breaking records is different now because you're not doing it in the clubs or in the strip clubs in the South. Do you think it's as impactful the way they're breaking records through like social media?
I think it depends on the record. You know what I mean? I think certain records still. I mean, like I said, certain records still get me excited. You know what I mean? It could be new, or it could be something I haven't heard in a while. That's the whole good thing about Scratch Vision. We try to play the originals, and then we try to play the record that you know what I mean, like kind of educating them. But if you know your music, you know what I'm saying. We kind of been doing like that. So it's a good thing. I think it's positive, and it's going to just help the whole culture grow more and more.
Now, what do you think in terms of, or your thoughts on the state of hip hop in terms of taking care of its own, especially like the pioneers of the game? Be it DJs, record execs, artists, DJs such as yourself. Like, what do you think about like just how hip hop takes care of its own, especially like the OGs and stuff for the game? Like, I know we touched on Scratch Vision, we touched on LL with Rock the Bells, but those are two entities. Like, what do you think overall in terms of that?
Actually, you know what? I'm just thinking on top of that. I got to get props to Chuck D too. He has his own rap station, and we started doing mixes on there also too. And Chuck's another guy that he's just strong, politically, and he's just strong in general, but a great humble brother down to earth, and just wants the culture to grow, but wants to give props like LL, give props to the pioneers that didn't get their rightful props. And because I know Chuck and them is talking about getting like a union together, and some kind of way the pioneers can get like monies sent it back to them. So you know what I mean? So that's needed. That's needed. You know what I mean? Because it ain't sweet out here all the time. You know what I mean? Like you might find your lane to make your money. Like like I got to give props to D Nice around the pandemic. D Nice was the next DJ, and he's still growing from that. So I got to give there's certain, like, and for instance, I'm hearing now that DJ Cassidy's having this tour going out where Pass the Mic, where he got a little idea, and a lot of kids might not be that excited for Cassidy, but I think it's another avenue. You know what I mean? It's another avenue that, and another situation where you'd be like, wow, I wish I would have got that idea, or you know what I mean? So we still kind of learning the curve, but trying to stay in the mix on what's going on, so you can try to grab that opportunity when it comes.
I mean, the creativity is always going to be something that's always prevalent and always growing. As long as you have a fresh mind about it, it's always a beautiful thing to see where ideas come in, especially those two guys, especially DJ Cassidy and D Nice. But it's funny you bring up a hip hop union, because that was actually going to be my next question. Should there be a hip hop union? And if so, like if it was up to you, how would you start it? I don't know if there's a right answer.
Like I said, I mean, I don't know if I got the right answer either. But my thing is, I would be able to figure out a way where, the responsibility is on the people that came in the game. That's big. That's gigantic. Jay-Z, maybe LL. Like, we want to pin it on them because they did it their way and made their money. You know what I mean? But if there's a way that we could figure out a way to try to like put some money together and have a union set up for the people like Grand Wizard Theater and Cool Herc.
Yeah.
And all the pioneers that we praise, you know, some of these guys need a lot of help now. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, like I said, with us, people see us and they see our situation or what have you, and I'm like, listen, you know, brothers is not rich over here. You know, we sacrificed for 25, 30 years to buy our airtime. So that took a lot of sacrifice. And I know half of the cats that the way the industry is now, they're like, man, I'm not doing that. I'm not paying for no radio show, and what I get out of it. You know what I mean? Like we wasn't like that. We was just also more like we had to do this to get in, to get on. You know, you learn from that. Hopefully people will learn a lesson from that. And hopefully, you know, we can all still grow together along with, you know, getting the fruits of, you know, you see a group like a Naughty by Nature, or, you know, a lot of groups that we started out with that kind of just blew out the frame, but still down to earth and doing their thing, you know?
Which I definitely understand that. Now, for the future too, I don't know if you've been seeing this, but you're seeing, you know, artificial intelligence, AI, starting to come in different markets now, and it's coming from music. So, you know, for the future, do you think AI is going to affect the culture? And the reason why I asked this is because there was a clip going around that went viral a couple of weeks ago with this guy basically trying to rap. He's rapping into an AI app, and he was rapping like he was Kendrick Lamar, and it had the voice. So everything he said, it sounded like Kendrick Lamar. You know, so I'm like, when I look at that, I'm like, whoa, I don't know if this is good, because I'm like, does that threaten radios, that threaten mix shows? You know what I mean? Like, what are your thoughts on like that possibly coming to affect the culture now?
Hey, I hope, you know, I hope we get policed somehow. You know what I mean? I mean, we don't want to take away from all the sacrifice that Kendrick Lamar or someone might have done to get their thing moving. You know what I mean? So I don't know the right answer to that, but my whole thing is, you know, let's try to police it so it don't be like, you know, the person that kind of created it don't get lost. Because it's a hurting feeling, man. It's something you started out, and you know, and I kind of take everything back to us. I mean, we was the first mix show to me. You know, we was the first before they said, "Oh, we got a mix show," or "We got an hour mix." The whole format of an hour mix show or 2-hour mix shows kind of came from us. You know, or shows like us on the station we were on. So, you know, hopefully, you know, the people recognize it, but the whole thing now, like I said, you continue to grow and police the things that we can control, so the culture can continue to grow and people get their rightful props, and like you said, get their rightful flowers while they're here. You know?
Yeah, 100%. Because I didn't like seeing that, to be honest with you, because I'm like, I can see where that's gonna go, and I'm like,
I saw that too, and I'm still kind of learning. Like it's just so much, man. You know, like I said, we still learning every day with all the different medias and different things going on. It's just like, you know, I saw my boy send me something earlier today about how they put rock and rap together, and they're saying that, you know, it was loved at one time, but now it's hated. And I was kind of looking at a YouTube that he sent me. I'm like, well, you know, like, you know, hopefully, you know, we can do something that we can still mesh and grow together, because Run DMC and Aerosmith was incredible, and I was, you know what I mean, like, so, and it's something different. You know, we all waiting for something different, the next differentness, something that's gonna be, you know, like I'm proud of Nas right now. I'm proud of Wu-Tang with the tour right now.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm proud of, like, you know, different artists that have been at it for a long time, finally getting their props, finally getting recognized, but they still keep it thorough. They're still keeping it, you know, down to earth and to the meat, and not selling out. So it's dope, you know.
Now, coming from your perspective, what advice would you give to guys now coming into the industry now that's very wide-eyed and full of that initial energy and joy, you know, to get their foot in the game now? What's your advice for those guys?
I say do your research.
Yeah.
Do your research. Try to recognize the people that pioneered this and been out here already. I say be yourself. You know, take your lumps when they come. You know what I mean? You're gonna find out how strong you really are, because you're gonna get probably kicked down and doors slammed on you in the whole nine. You got to find out in your heart if this is really for you. You know what I mean? And that's the advice I can give. Like, you know, if you really love it, don't let nobody stop you, but do it your way. You know what I mean? Because certain people, like, you know, I'm looking at this top of that. I'm saying like the Migos or just something that's really to the left and different. And you'd be like, oh man, I'm not used to that rap. I don't like that. but the people like it. You know what I mean? And you kind of, the bottom line is you got to really adapt to what the people like, regardless of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But still, like we said, we love it from the core when it started. You know, we love the boom back. You know, we love the DJ Premier. We love the RZA. You know what I mean? We love all that creativity from them that kind of molded us and had us excited and had us like, yeah, I love it. Plus, it's helped me grow and stay in the mix at that age we at.
And the genius of those guys as well, you know, and still being able to stay relevant and still doing projects to this day, and people are still loving them for it.
Loving it, and they still doing it their way. They're not, they're not selling out. They're not caving in. They're like, listen, if you love me, love me for what I do. You know what I mean? And that's dope. I'm proud of all the people like that just continue to grow, and even like us too. I mean, we kind of doing our thing our way, and we appreciate DJ Scratch having us still out there to this day. Because I mean, like when WHBI went, you probably would think that we're not on no more. We're not heard no more. But now, it's like a 2023 version of Awesome 2. We back. We here. We still rocking. We still trying to keep it keep it hot and keep it, keep it 100, as they say.
And when did that collaboration start with you and DJ Scratch for the Scratch Vision app?
It's been about 3 years now, but Scratch always had like the app for a long time.
Right.
And he would always, we would come to a lot of our events. We got cool, and he would always be like, "Yo, man, I want y'all to, come on, Scratch Vision. I want y'all to come do more things with me." And we wasn't right. We're reluctant not to do it. We just wasn't really set up studio wise, and we just wasn't set up. We thought to make sure the show could sound right,
like authentic, like how you guys like to do it.
And now these last 3 years, we kind of worked out a way where, okay, we can work it out where we can have the show sounding decent and respect what we think. So, we've been growing with it. We've been growing with it. We're trying to, learn more of what's going on with the social media and create another audience. Because I mean, it's been 41 years. I mean, people don't grow old. People don't grow old with us. We got the new cats coming on with us right now. You know what I mean? So it's a blessing, but it's like, we're gonna try to do it our way. But we still are open ear to be like, people might hit us like, well, I didn't really like that record, or why don't you play this record, or you know what I mean? So we still kind of give and take and open ear to what's going on, what we like, and what we think the people might like.
Yeah, I guess the music industry right now is constant education. It doesn't stop, right? I guess that's the part of the growth, right? It's still such a young industry too. I mean, it's only been 50 years. It's not that old.
Right, and it shouldn't stop. I mean, and the whole thing now is like, we know it's 50 years, and we want to get props to that, but we're on rear 41. I don't know if a lot of cats can say that, but it's just, we blessed to still be out here and rocking with it, and just want to be accepted, just want to be recognized, and let cats know, like, these guys did sacrifice, these guys did do their thing, and they still doing their thing, and just get the right props for that. That's all.
No doubt. And here's my last question, my final question I want to ask you. Now, where do you see hip hop going? I don't want to say for the next 50 years, but let's say for the next 5 to 10. Where do you see it going just overall, like from the lyrics, from production, from the business side, from like DJs, mix shows? Like, where do you see it all going? Like,
I mean, I'm not sure where I see it going. Hopefully it's still here and put out there the right way. You know what I mean? Like, like we've been. Like, I'm used to, hearing somebody, lyrically different. I mean, I'm looking for the next cat. Like, wow, you know what I mean? Like somebody that'll really put a spark in me. Like you hear certain songs, and like I said, Eric B. and Rakim, and Rakim was so different back then, and he's still prevalent now. You know what I mean? So my thing is like, just preserving the culture and not letting it really get taken away from us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The way we started it and the way we're making it grow, continue to do that. And, we need the people, the key folks that's involved with it to stay strong with it. You got cats like, Uncle Rob McDaniels that's still doing it the right way. And just certain folks is out there that's trying to make it grow and stand in the middle of it to make sure that Chuck D, I can name people on and on with just those two that are close with me. That's still prevalent, strong, and helping it grow where it needs to be.
Yeah, because I feel like, where music is right now, like I feel like lyrics and certain styles are gonna start to make a comeback. Because you know what, I really liked Coast Contra, right? When they started, becoming viral and doing all those freestyles on old school beats and sounding
Yeah,
like the 80s and 90s, but making it, like the relevant version of now. And I really love that
right.
because it shows you that, like, okay, like right now where hip hop is at or where music is at, I feel like it's a little bit one way right now. And it kind of has to
Right.
go back to the medium a little bit. Right. So
Yes,
so
it is.
so the J. Cole's, the Kendricks, like, those guys, the
Yeah.
Costa Contras, even the Drakes, like they're kind of bringing it back to like the medium where like we can have different sounds, and as long as it's quality, it's beautiful, and
There you
so
go.
I'm hoping like in the next 5 to 10 years, that's where it's gonna start to go back to where like the tribes and the De Las, and you had the NWAs and the Rakims and the
Yeah.
KRS,
Yeah.
and everybody can be in this
Yeah.
the same space because all their music is great, and that's what you want to see.
Like I said, be yourself. Come out like that. Don't sound like somebody else. You be the next trend. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
think whoever does that is gonna grow with it as we go as we move on. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, brother, listen, man, thank you so much
And
for hopping on the
thank
Ave
you, man.
Podcast, man. And I'm
Yes, sir. Yes,
seriously,
sir.
I'm giving you hand claps right now because 41 years in the game. Come on, man. That's hand claps. That's hand claps right now.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Love is love, man. Big up to all the folks that's giving us love, and we
Mm-hmm.
still rocking every Friday nights, 8 to 9. Scratch Vision. Hope we're gonna grow into something, more with Scratch. As he grows, we grow,
Right.
and we just do it together. All right.
Now, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
No doubt.
Appreciate you, man.
Likewise, Riley.
Yes, sir.